Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Audio's good. Everything's good. Good morning. Good morning. Jeez. Everything is good. Audio's good. Sounds good. All right. Just gonna hold off here till around 8:30, and then we'll get going at around 8:30. Okay, guys. Thursday morning. All right, let me pull up this chart here. Our handy dandy chart. Now you guys all want to look at it, so here you go. You can look at it since you love it so much. Alright, let's wait a little bit longer for everyone to come on. I'm going to go on flip this camera. Bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to set this up so people on TikTok can see it as well. Right. Perfect. Alright, I think we're doing alright here. Gonna wait a few more minutes and then we'll get going here. Alright, so this thing is coming back to life. I'm gonna go live on TikTok here and we'll get going. Alright, good morning everyone. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Rim, Scott, Sammy, Kim, Renee, Rajan, Majid, Jer, Robert, Mark, Rav. Rav, I can't see Canadian stocks on my Thinkorswim platform here. However, I am well aware of Score. And I think Score, you know, once it finds a base at around, what is it now, 33, I think, 35, it'll continue to move higher. Kevin, thank you, bud. Just gonna hang around for a few more minutes. Just gonna wait till 8:30, and then we'll get going here We'll get going at 8:30 here. For those of you on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube, so you can see the full screen here. You guys can tune in on YouTube if you want a more closer look at the full screen. Let's see what Score is doing actually. Let's see, CRTO. Yeah, so Score is sitting at around 37 bucks. As long as we stay above 35, 36, I think this should curl back around and come towards that 50 area on Score. Gonna hang tight a little bit more here. 2 more minutes and we'll get going. For those of you that are already here and tuned in, do me a favor and smash the like button. I guess YouTube kind of likes that when you guys press the like button rather than not. So if you'd be doing me a big favor if you can smash that like button there. I should probably throw my camera on here once in a while too. Rim, good morning. Robert, good morning. Catherine, good morning. Victor, good morning. Jay-Z, good morning. Rika, good morning. Look at this. I love all these early birds here. All right. So I had a suggestion from someone in the room here for RPTX. So we'll start off with RPTX and then we can kind of go off from there and take your thoughts on what you guys want, and we'll go from there. Obviously, I'll address GME and AMC because I know that's what you guys are all loving. But I guess we can get started now. It's 8:30. RPTX was a ticker that was mentioned, so let's look at RPTX here. All right, so you guys are pretty much going to see what I'm looking at. So when I pull up a chart, this is what I look at. All right, do we have support down here? You know, we have some not a clear direction right here. We have some resistance. We broke above it, kind of fell below it here again. So maybe down here we have some support. So you can see it's kind of stuck in this little range right here, right? If it loses that, possibility of it coming down to 23 is there. But let's take a look at it a little bit farther and see what the chart is going to show us here. So not much. I mean, ideally I would want this back above 34, maybe even 36, so we can get back above the moving averages and then kind of look for a target of around 40 and then maybe 44. But very choppy, no clear direction. You can see the moving averages keep crossing back and forth. So not the greatest chart. And there's some buying pressure up here and here. So if stock pops up, it might get sold into. All right. That's as far as RPTX goes. Another therapeutical company, so it's choppy as well. And that's the issue with these therapeutics, right? They're not the greatest charts. However, if they get going, they can get volume and move. Do I think Bitcoin will go back down? I sure hope so, man. I sure hope so, because I missed the bus on that one. AKBA had earnings just now. It's back above $4 pre-market here. They did get some money. I think it's like $40 million they got. So you got to be careful with stocks that you hold into earnings, because it's pretty much a 50-50 guess at that point, right? Let's see, what are we looking at here? So SONO, People are asking about SONO. SONO, great. You know, we got a great entry on this thing at around 38. And we have targets on SONO. Let me see what our targets are. Remember. Oh, where is my SONO alert? Yeah, so 44 and 50 is what we're looking at here. So almost there. This is a stock that moves really slowly, so it's a little bit safer for those of you that are, you know, in it. So just a little bit more patient. We did break out. We have nice volume on the breakout here. You guys can see with these two bars down here. So just a little bit more patience with SONO. All right. Is it too late to enter AMC? AMC, I don't know, man. If you guys are playing the stock, you guys have to be really careful with it. And if you guys are trying to play the hype, I don't think the hype is so much on AMC. I think the hype is on GME. And the first time around, that was very evident. GME, you can see that there's a support here, and it's continuously holding the support line. If you're going to trade this and you want to get in, maybe you can kind of get in now. Stops at 130. That's about a $20 stop. AMC on the other way, you have resistance up here at around $12, 1136, 1189, right? So unless this breaks out of this 1189, you're not going to see much of a move, right? It needs to get back above this area. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on these two because they're manipulated. There's no reason behind the move, and I don't want to be trading something that does not have much of a reasoning behind why it's moving, rather than just a bunch of people on Reddit. So CCIV, same thing with CCIV, guys. I mean, not same thing, but I discussed CCIV multiple times. Yesterday I told everybody, you know, if it hits 26, it's probably going to find some buyers. And look at that, we hit 26.18 and we got buyers here in the pre-market, right? It's like clockwork. We have support. This is why support and resistance is so important. I told you guys, support at around 27. We can see that right here. We bounced, right? Support. And then right here, again, support, right? We bounced again right there. And then where did we find some buyers? 26. I told you guys this is going to find buyers at 26. So we found buyers, and now we're back at 29. If this decides to hold this 27, 26 area when the market is open, then it should continue to move higher. IZEA, we're still holding. BLNK lost its setup. So we'll go back to, there you go. So BLNK, you know, it came up to this resistance of 60, and then market decided to kind of sell off and took it down with it, right? So unless we kind of get back above, I want to say 45, then it might struggle, because you have moving averages that you're below it now, so you have moving averages now acting as resistance. All right, NEO earnings coming up, and it was down a lot lately. Yeah, I don't think NEO has done anything wrong as a company. I do think the market is kind of pulling it down. So it's just a matter of having some patience with this company. Again, I'm in this for the long term, and when the earnings come out, you know, depending on how well they do, we can pop back above this, you know, 55 area. We did hit 53 pre-market yesterday, or this morning actually, 53.50. So it is finding some, it's going to find some resistance up here before it does make a move back around, because all these people who bought up here are going to try to get out of their position. It's just the way psychology of trading works. Everyone who bought up here, who chased up here, is going to try to sell as soon as price gets back up to this 55. So we're going to chop around here a little bit before we get back up to that $60 area. So be patient with it. It is a longer term play. If you guys are impatient, I suggest you know, take your money out and go somewhere else, because you're going to need patience with NEO. PLTR, I've addressed this multiple times, but I'm going to continue talking about this. So again, PLTR, those of you that are following ARK Investments movements, these guys are not in it for the day, for the week, for the month. They're in it for the plan that's out to be, you know, in the next 2, 3, 4 years maybe, right? So they're not worried about little fluctuations, whereas the retail trader might be concerned about the fluctuations. So let's see, we have clear support right here at around 22.50. We can see it's evident by these dips right here. We have a dip right here, shot back up, dip right here, shot back up, right? So it's clear that we have we have support at 22.58. So if you're long term, which I suggest you only do this long term, you can buy anywhere from $26 to $24 and kind of give it room. If it loses the 22.58, you could cut the trade, because then it can come back down to 19 or even 16, and then you can kind of load up more there. However, if you're in it long term, you can start now and even give it room to add if it gets back down to the 17 area. That way, ultimately, when this runs back up, you get a nice average. Okay, again, long term, at least 2 years time with this one. BA again, an airline that, not an airline, but in aerospace sector. You know, I've been telling you guys that airlines are gonna run, cruise ships are gonna run, hotels are gonna run. In the newsletter, I said it again on Sunday, and Sunday was, what was Sunday? Sunday was the 21st, all right? And then Monday we opened up, okay? Boeing has not moved with the airline sector. It's a little lagging. And yesterday we got this massive move, simply because if airlines are moving and people are going to start traveling again, the theory is that Boeing airlines are going to start, you know, moving. They're going to start getting orders. So this continued to move up with it. It was a little lagging. That's why you need to follow everything in the sector so you're aware of what's moving and what's not moving. All right. A lot of people were saying, do I buy AAL? Well, AAL shot up all the way up here. Do I buy Save? All right. Well, Save had made a significant run. If you were paying attention, you would have noticed that Boeing didn't make that significant run up until, you know, yesterday. Yesterday it made a massive run. You guys need to be fully aware of the sector, of the stocks in that sector, and what's lagging and what's not lagging, right? So BA was lagging. All you really had to do was get in, have a set risk of around 190, and it took off to 229. All right. OSK. Oshkosh, to be honest, I had Oshkosh on my list. I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't trade this. I'm a firm believer of, you know, finding stocks before they run, and I did find it. I found Oshkosh here at around, I think it was here, 99, 100, or maybe it was the day after. I don't remember. Maybe it was here at around $100. All right. Had massive volume. Obviously, 1.4 million shares of 100 stock that got traded. This is big. This is big volume. And you know, I didn't pull the trigger because we didn't really have a setup. And then the next day, when it pulled back to this support, this, you know, area of resistance that's now support, would have been the perfect entry, because later that day the news came out about Oshkosh, right? About the deal with USPS, which in return sent WKHS or WHKS plummeting. All right. So again, pay attention to these buy volumes, guys. It's not a joke. It happens. Now we do have a nice setup forming here. We have great buy volume Oshkosh. If it can continue to flag up here, I will most likely take a trade on this, but it needs some time. With that said, let's talk about Workhorse. It's another stock that I've talked about. And here we are, simple support and resistance. Support and resistance at 14.13. We can see we got a nice bounce. Only concerning thing with this is that it's massive red volumes right here, okay? Big red volumes. It's a little bit concerning. This is ultimately starting to look like a, you know, it could, an inside day on a big red volume day. It could be a 3-bar pattern on the way down. So you have to be really careful with this. You know, if you want to invest in this company long term, you want to buy at support levels, right? So maybe this would be your first entry, but if this gets lost, it can come down to 10, and then maybe you can add there. However, for a short-term trade, I will not be touching WKHS. SKLZ, I really like this. I think it should continue moving up. I'm still holding this. Unfortunately, I gave it room because of the market volatility. So I'm hoping this does come back up here, because listen, they had great news. They had great buying pressure. They had continuous buying pressure. I don't see any massive selling happening. We're still below the average on the selling. So buyers should kind of come back up here. I think we're just waiting for market to kind of hold itself, and then we will get some buyers back in the stock. Hola, Iglesia. All right, let's take a look at buds. Buds, Weed Inc. All right, it's got to stay above 90 cents. If it does that, it can flag up and kind of shoot up. All right, we have this flag, not the prettiest chart again. We have big red days. However, it is kind of flagging here. If it can hold this 20 moving average like it did before, it can continue higher. But as of right now, you have to be a little bit patient with it. Maybe if it gets out of this 104, 105 area, you can take a trade. Stops at 190. That would be the only time. For those of you guys that are on TikTok, I am on YouTube. So there's a link in my bio. You can click that and see the full screen, and we can kind of go over that. AIKI. What is it? AIKI. AIKI. Not the prettiest chart again. Not a fan of this chart at all. Lots of these charts they look like this. All right, so we had this big move, got stuffed, came back up, area of resistance got rejected, came back up, broke out. Right, so we kind of have this cup and handle formation that broke out, came back, retested and held, and we shot back up, but then we fell below it. We couldn't hold that anymore, and now we're back under that 134. Ultimately, I want this back above 150, and then maybe it can find its way up. But no setup, no specific, idea that I see in it. So I would stay away from it. But if you're going to trade it above 140, stops at 120, that would be the ideal situation on that one. The ZOM I've talked about multiple times. I feel like people are bag holding these stocks and they keep asking about them. So ZOM, 190, 189, or sorry, 180, 190 can be your stops if you're still holding. And if you're not holding, maybe look at entries closer to $2, and then you can kind of see if you get the curl back up to around 290. Twitter, I really like Twitter. I really like Twitter. We have nice tight price action here, guys, and I do think that this will continue to move alongside Snapchat. All right, this is the idea behind it here. If we can get back above, we had an inside day yesterday. If we can get back above this 73, 74 area, I do think this can continue to move higher. And where it's gonna go, first target of 80 is definitely in the works, and then probably around $90. Slow mover, it takes some time for it to move, but if it gets going, it can start. You can see the candles are very tight on it. But volume is starting to come in. We had big volume here on earnings day. If we break out of here over the 74 area, we could definitely come towards 80 and then 90 on the top side. SNDL long-term hold. Pfizer, I'm not really sure what you want to do with Pfizer. The thing moves like snail and doesn't really do what I want it to do. I don't really like that slow moving stock. There's better things you can kind of trade. AYRO, again, another one that kind of couldn't hold its weight and came back down below support. All right, we have this support area right here, which resistance turned into support, couldn't hold it, we fell below it. Ultimately, I would want this back above $7.80, $8, and then maybe we can curl it back around, go towards that 10, $11. If you guys are still tuned in, make sure you smash that like button. There's 128 of you guys, and there's only 37 likes. All right, Mara and Snap. Snap is a good one. I think Snap just simply had a rest day. So I do think this continues to move higher in the days to come. All right. Mara hit this. So we have resistance here. We broke out on volume, came back down. We had support right down here. Old resistance turned support. We kind of held it. Moving average as support as well. We kind of bounced back out. We broke above, right? We broke above with volume. You can see right here. And where did we go? We came up here to the $50 area. All right. That was the area that I had marked down on Mara. We're pulling back into this area, $28 with the prior resistance, now support. If Bitcoin holds up, this can continue to move higher. You can have entries anywhere now from 32 to maybe 34. What is it at now? Oh, it's at 36. So it's already ran up to 36. So I guess Bitcoin has moved overnight. Anyways, your stops would have to be around $30 to $28 on this thing if you're taking it here, and targets of around 45, 50 bucks. So it is something that's going to keep moving, I think, if Bitcoin continues to move higher. TRCH. So good buying pressure, these big massive buy volumes here. Needs to find some sort of support. If you go long here, stops maybe at around $2, $2.40. The reason for the wide stop is because just in case it decides to come pull down here, you want to give it room to move. Obviously it's a stock with big range, so if it does come down to the $2 area, you don't want to get stopped out at like $2.20, $2.40. EHTH. I don't know, weird looking chart, but if it fell down here with big volume, some buyers came in. We're kind of breaking above this $60 level. Your next area of resistance is going to be around 70. So definitely doable. Not 70, but 69. So definitely doable, but the only concern now is that you have 50-day moving average at 66. All right, so if we push up, we can very easily hit this $66 area and kind of reject or consolidate before making another move higher. I just want to make note of something, guys. It's really important for you guys to understand levels, okay? Let me go into the 10-minute chart on the SPY. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with what the SPY is, or you know what this is that I'm talking about here, but essentially this is another ETF that is that holds a bunch of stocks in it. Okay, so think of it as a bag with a bunch of different companies in it. This is essentially what an ETF is. And and the reason why it's so important, and the reason why the last few days I talked about this so much, is because these levels matter. And when these levels get lost, or when these levels start gaining momentum, is when we start seeing some strength in the market. So the other day when we lost, when the market pulled down heavy, I've been watching this 385 level for a very long time, and I kept telling everybody this 385 level needs to hold, needs to hold, needs to hold. We lost it. If you guys can see this, I'm going to zoom into it a little bit better so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We lost this 385, came back up and retested it, right? Came back up, retested it, and rolled right over. All right, and I said we got to get back above. We got to get back above, and obviously that same day we got it back above it, and yesterday we hit it, we held it, and then we went back above this 389, and now the 390 is the area that kind of it needs to hold, right? This 390 is right here, and we're holding that very well right now. If we can get back above 390, 391.50, 392, we can come back up here, and ultimately we would need to break above this to continue higher, right? But nothing to say that we're going to hit this and kind of come back down. Their support and resistance are always going to play a big factor in your trading career. So understand that and put that on all your charts as you're trading. All right. RPTX. I don't invest in crypto, but I feel like I'm missing out. So I think we just talked about RPTX earlier. Oh, there you are. I don't know if you missed it, so maybe I'll talk about it again. So RPTX, it's stuck in this channel here. So you can clearly see that it's 34 and 31.30 are the area. It had some resistance here that it broke above, failed to hold it here, pushed up, and I guess market kind of pulled it down here. Ultimately, I would want this back above 34.75, 34.50 to kind of get a move back high. The only issue is now everyone who bought up here or up here is going to try to dump on you as soon as the stock gets back up. So ultimately, if we can get back above 35, 36, maybe get in between these two moving averages, we can kind of see a move towards 40 and then 45. All right, but we would want to get above that area first. All right, let's take a look at Apple. So Apple again, everything in the market kind of looks like this, where it was kind of trending nicely and then everything just pulled. We have, you know, some selling pressure here on Apple, currently sitting at around 124 pre-market, 124.75 pre-market. So what can happen here? Ultimately, we can get this move back up towards these moving averages and kind of reject. I'm kind of hoping that, you know, we find enough strength to get this back above the 132 area, because the market has heavily relied on Apple, especially the SPY. It's very heavily relied on this. So if we can get Apple to move, we can get the market as a whole to move. But I will be watching Apple very closely alongside the market to see if we can get back towards this 132 and how we react towards this 132. Okay, maybe if we do push up to this area, I would think about maybe taking less risk, just in case if we do decide to roll over in the market. But ultimately, we need to get back above here. We have some 200-day moving average, which is a little bit further from where I want it to be. Some support at 114 and some support at 121. All right, so if we can hold these levels, we can see a little bit higher. I think Cineplex is a Canadian. It's on the TSX. It should be all right. I think Cineplex. I'm not sure what it's trading at. Let me check. So it's trading at around 13, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Sorry, I don't have TSX charts on my TOS, so I gotta check it elsewhere. It's not even giving me. I can't even check the months. Oh, there we go. So Cineplex has gone from $4 to $14. It's made a massive move already. I don't know when you got in or what your plan is here, but you would probably want to try to take some profits here. But you know, in Canada, things are slowly starting to open up. I don't know if theaters are open yet, but we did open some gyms and whatnot, so maybe this can get a little bit of a run going into the summer. But you have to be aware of your entry and what your plan is going forward. Run. You got in at $13.98. So you just bought it yesterday as it closed. Yeah, you need a better plan, my friend. I don't know if that's. I gotta look at it on my phone, but message me on Discord and I'll talk about it with you then. I just don't have the exact charts and the candlesticks up here right now. Run coming into that 60 psychological number. It's got support 200 moving average at around 52, and some support right down here at around 55, which we can see it kind of bounced off of perfectly. All right, ideally this is probably going to chop around here before making another leg up, but same thing, right? Same kind of looking chart as Apple. We pulled down under the two moving averages. If we push back up here, we can really easily roll over. So this is the issue we're in at the market right now. We have this 55-60 area, or we have these moves that came down below the moving average. If we pop up, we need to hold above these moving averages for a continuation higher, or we can kind of roll over again. So We can always just play the bounce and see where we head, and take profits on the way, but we can't be blind to what's really happening. And that's, you know, a lot of the stocks are now below their moving average, and the pop can really easily bring them back up and roll it over again. All right, just gonna do we're gonna do 2 more before we gotta head out of here. And I gotta get back to the room to kind of help the guys here. FND, not a bad chart. Very well respected on the 50 moving average. Only issue is now it's looking a little bit top heavy. We have resistance right here. We have resistance right here. If we can kind of get back above this 99-100 area, then we can get it back up to 105, and then the 108 to 110 area. However, we do need to get back above the 100 area for a position. We'll do 2 more. ACST. Before I head out of here, I want to talk about the market as well. ACST, respecting that 20 moving average, chart is hella choppy. Some resistance right there, some resistance right there. Support, we have support here, we have support here. Okay, so we got that nice dip down to the support, which is also lining up with the 50-day moving average, and we have a bounce. Okay, if we can get back above, I didn't even realize this is a sub $1 stock. If you can get back above the 85 cents, we can curl around towards that 1. You're gonna see big resistance at 1. So be aware of that. UAL, AAL, SAV, Jets, all these things, guys, these are long-term stocks. I've been preaching about these for about 2 weeks now. You just got to hold these. As everything is going to open up, as vaccines are rolling in, these things are going to continue to run. And they all have big gaps. Like, look at this. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a huge gap from 51 to 74. Maybe it's got some resistance at 63, but this is a big gap. There's volume coming in, right? If this kind of picks up, it can very easily hit 74, and then you're going to see a little bit of selling pressure unloading from everybody that bought pre-COVID, right? So be aware of that. FireEye. Again, the same issue here. We lost that 20 moving average. We lost that the 50 moving average coming down below here. The good thing is it's got pretty decent support at around 19, and huge buying pressure, like 80 million shares, 50 million shares, 30 million shares, 50 million shares, just on these, you know, few days here. Ultimately, what I would have liked this to do was kind of hold this pattern here, but it didn't look like it did, and it kind of fell right through it. It's trying to get back above into this, but if it can get back above maybe $20, you can kind of get an entry there. There is a lot of buying pressure in it. I think the market just pulled this over, but the last few weeks has been pretty choppy here. Up, down, up, down, up, down, no clear direction. APPS, I like it. I think once this guy gets back above that 82 level, it'll continue higher. Staying above the 20 moving average, great earnings, great company, great fundamentals. I think once this gets back above 82 and the market stops fucking around, this will move back up. All right, guys. Again, let's address SPY very quickly for those of you that are still in it. I mean, not in it, for those of you that are interested in really understanding how the market's going to work. So if we can get back above this 392 area, 395 would be next. Above that, we're heading straight to the highs of 400. Okay, struggling a little bit here pre-market. What can happen? We can definitely come down to the 390 area, lose that. We can come back and retest 385. As long as we stay above 385, we should be okay as a whole. But if we get back down to the 385 area, it might be a little bit of an issue. So ideally, I want this maybe to pull down to the 388 in the morning and then kind of shoot back up, which would be the best ideal situation. But if we lose 388, be a little concerned, because going back to 385 is going to be a little bit worrying. So we'll see how it goes, and you know, we have our positions, we know our risk levels, and we know what the volatility can come if we lose 385, but we'll address the situation as it presents itself. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. NTAP is another good one. Yeah, NTAP is a good one. I'll take a look at NTAP later. All right, guys, if you haven't done so already, smash the like button, and we'll be back here Thursday morning at around 8:30 Eastern time. Again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.